There's been a massive increase in the UK of people seeking help for ketamine addiction. Researchers reckon that's to do with changes in the way that we use Ket here. Apparently now it's gone well beyond simply being a club drug. Although it's still used in the context of clubbing, it's also used for different motivations as well. For instance, some people are using Ket on a weeknight just to chill out, but also young people especially are using ketamine to treat some sort of undiagnosed mental health issue, perhaps anxiety, perhaps some trauma. They're not having those needs met on the National Health Service, so instead they're sort of self-medicating with Ket. A couple of weeks ago, the Home Office said that they were considering reclassifying ketamine to make it a Class A drug. It's currently a Class B drug to sort of combat this increased in usage and increase in people suffering from addiction. There's no evidence to suggest increasing the penalties of a drug would actually decrease the amount of people using the drug. However, what would work is increasing the funding to mental health issues, in my opinion. Let's have a look at Ket and see how it went on its journey from a drug that people would use after a club night, for instance, to then people using it at club nights and after club nights, to people using it during the week, or even using it to sort of self-medicate and treat themselves for some sort of mental health issue. And that's because of ketamine's dissociative qualities. An estimated 299,000 people aged between 16 and 59 in England and Wales used ketamine last year. According to the Home Office data, that's the largest number since records began. And these numbers are reflected in the amount of adults seeking help for ketamine addiction from the health services. Last year that went up from 1.6% to 2.3%, so quite a big increase. And this sort of aligns with a long-term decline in sort of funding for our health services, which has gone on for over a decade. There was a study that came out in Manchester recently by a researcher called Robert Ralphs, and he was the person who argued this sort of shift in the way ketamine is used. In the research, he says that ketamine has now moved beyond simply being a club drug, and it is used for a range of motivations. Perhaps something that is sort of confusing this matter for some people is the rise in ketamine-assisted psychotherapy. So more and more research is suggesting that ketamine can be used to treat these issues. So the way that would work is people would take ketamine in a clinical setting, but that would be coupled with sort of talking therapies and things like that. And only in that context might it actually work. It's actually showed some very promising results, and a number of ketamine clinics have opened in the UK for that purpose. That's very different to snorting ketamine. It's chalk and cheese. And if people are self-treating with ketamine for these mental health issues, then that increases their risk of dependency. And if they become dependent on ketamine, then that can become very ugly indeed, because it's sort of very harmful for your bladder and your kidneys. And what can start with what they call K cramps, which is very, very severe pain in the abdominal area, can end with some serious and irreversible damage. But it's not a sort of drug that is likely to kill you. The number of deaths from ketamine in England and Wales remain fairly low. It's not a drug that's going to kill you, but it is a drug that could absolutely destroy your bladder and your kidneys, not to mention the social aspect of being completely splintered from reality all the time. That could have other sort of functional consequences for you, like you might not be able to hold down a job, or you might not be able to sort of maintain friendships or relationships if you're just sort of in a sort of K-hole all the time. So it's disappointing to see that the British government have decided to sort of tackle this by just increasing the penalties rather than helping people that are using Ket with their mental health. I think that's the way to do it. The way of increasing it to Class A is very short-sighted in my opinion. Anyway, if you find these videos useful or interesting, do me a favor, because I'm trying to get this channel off the ground. Drop me a like and subscribe and hit the bell notification.